Of Prime News on My Major Prime. Thanks for being with us. You're watching us live from Studio A at Fangudron Bange in Douala, the economic capital of the country. My name is Gienda Peldrin Blanche, King, to begin today's edition of the 6:30 Prime News. Pioneer Regional Assembly Bureau have been put in place. The elections took place today across the 10 regions of the country. In the Northwest region, Professor Fruangwafo emerged as the pioneer president of the Northwest Regional Assembly, while Bakome Lango Zakios was voted president of the Southwest Regional Assembly. The Houses of Chiefs, as part of the contents of special statutes, saw His Royal Highness Fonkevi Shomitang voted as president of the Northwest House of Chiefs, and Chief Atebe Bako was overwhelmingly chosen as the president of the Southwest House of Chiefs. Meanwhile, former government delegate over Yaoundé City Council was voted pioneer president of the Central Regional Assembly. Just to name this, we'll give you updates of the results on a subsequent edition of Prime News. Stay tuned to My Major Prime. Meantime, let's get an excerpt from Fonkevi Shomitang.
Attributes given to the House of Chiefs, and when we look into the attributes of the House of Chiefs, we will deal with traditional chieftaincy matters. We will deal with issues relating to the culture of the Northwest, and by so doing, culture is the base. Traditional chieftaincy is the base. So we are going to touch base with not just the funds themselves, but if we are touching base with the funds, we are touching base with the grassroots, because the funds live with the grassroots population. So you can be rest assured that we'll do our best to be able to bring peace to the Northwest region.
Internally displaced persons in the Central region, or in Yaoundé particularly, have received their share of gifts donated by the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya. The gifts were handed to them yesterday. Fonquinta reports.
Over 500 internally displaced persons in Yaoundé, the Central region of Cameroon, have begun receiving their own share of the 600 million donated by President Paul Biya, destined for internally displaced persons from the crisis-hit Northwest and Southwest regions, Central and South regions of Cameroon. The distribution of foodstuff and household materials to the internally displaced persons began yesterday, December 21, 2020, at the esplanade of the Yaoundé City Council under the chair of Territorial Administration Minister Paul Athanganji. During the distribution exercise, every beneficiary was handed the household materials and cash for transportation. Meanwhile, religious authorities taking care of orphans and the elderly received their own share of the presidential gift. While handing over the head of state's gift to the displaced persons, Minister Paul Athanganji revealed that the gesture is a clear indication that the head of state has them in mind.
The total amount of 600 million francs that President Pobia has put out to help the IDPs in the Northwest and Southwest regions. And I'm giving the kickoff today in Yaoundé. We have about 1,000 people who benefit from it, more than 500 families. But after Yaoundé, we are going to Bamenda for the same exercise, and it will be carried on in the regions. For instance, the governor of the South will go on, I think, during the week, and after that, we'll carry the same exercise in Douala, in Yaoundé, and in other places. So I think that the most important part of the message is that President Pobia is the father of the nation, and he understands that despite the difficulties, Cameroonians can live wherever they are comfortably. That's why he has made this special gesture. I've done this exercise more than 170 times that I've gone out with relief packages to the IDPs in the Northwest, in the Southwest, and all over the nation. But this one is a very special gesture because we are at the end of the year. If you see people eating and you are not eating, you are an angry person. So you can look at the quality of the mattresses and the blankets. So it's a very strong relief package of 600 million.
A similar exercise expected in the Northwest, Southwest and other regions will target internally displaced persons who fled the Anglophone crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions, and equally Boko Haram insurgency in the far North region, of Cameroon.
Families of victims of the October 24 school attack have received financial aid from Kumba Union in Leicester, United Kingdom. Families of children who were killed and those receiving treatments benefited from these gestures. Our reporter Tamfo Sidwan Dimbia tells us in the following report.
These are families of children who were attacked and some killed in Kumba, Cameroon on the 24th October 2020. On this day, these families are happy recipients of financial aids from the Kumba Union in Leicester, United Kingdom. As they continue to bear the pains for the death of their children, the men and women from Kumba living in Leicester, United Kingdom shared the same pains as they decided to reach out to them by preparing a financial package. According to the country representative of the association, Madame Ebako Julie, the initiative is to give comfort to those who were affected by the October 24 school attack.
Almost job. I don't even know how to talk. For all the other waiting, they be strong soul, picking them, they be die happy. But that's small things say me they remember their brothers and sisters back home. We give them all, we give God all the glory and all appreciation. It goes to them. May God give them more power. May they continue to the help.
She also prays that peace will reign in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
And then we pray against all this wahala. Waiting for the we pray for peace. Let peace reign. Because if trouble not there, we will not get all this wahala.
As the families receive financial package from the Kumba Union in Leicester, they appreciated and prayed the union moves on successfully so that they will always pay back to the city of Kumba.
They were children for everyone. And we are really happy and the world is really showing to us
It should be noted that over 1,770,000 francs CFA was distributed to both families who lost their children and those whose children are still in the hospital following the school attack at the Mother Francisca International Bilingual Academy, Kumba. Apart from this, the Kumba Union in Leicester has been reaching out to some IDPs in the city of Kumba and other vulnerable population.
Head of State President Paul Biya has appointed new administrators or new civil administrators by or through a presidential decree. By this, some administrators have been transferred while others have been called to other duties. Eileen Sama reports.
The decree signed on December 18, 2020 by the head of state touched all 10 regions of the country, with some first and second assistant divisional officers raised to senior divisional officers. In the littoral, the divisional officer for Douala 5 in Wuri Division, Fombele Matthias Tayem, was replaced by Anwafo Kletus Asongwe, former DO for Tico, while the latter was called to other functions. While in the Senegal Maritime Division, the first assistant DO of Bertois replaces Kenya Simplice Hervé. In the northwest, Menchum and Mumo were touched. Fungom now has a new DO, Umaru Garba, promoted from second assistant DO in Banjul to divisional officer of Fungom subdivision, replacing Lien Wutu Patri, while in Momo, former first assistant DO of Mbengui, Ara Amatangana Maxim, replaces Nyaso Muhammadu Mfo. In the southwest, in Fako Division, Tiko Subdivision, Vo Boy Kamer Kawa, DO from Banga replaces Anwafo Kletos Asongwe. And now for the senior administrators, in the Central Region, the senior divisional officer for Mefu Eafamba is King No Nana Thierry, former Secretary General at the Littoral Governor's Office, who replaces Njikden Emmanuel Mariel, while Kulbot Aman David, former SDO for Ja Elobo, replaces Mr. Chaibu as SDO for Mifi. In Adamawa in the Jerem, Njadai Yakuba, DO for Elik Mfomo, has been promoted to Senior Divisional Officer, replacing Njomo Bernard. While in the West in Bambuto's Division, Etapa Francis Franklin, former SDO for Nde, replaces Eyango Budu Enes, just to name but these. In the days ahead, the installation rituals will will be performed by the various governors of the regions, setting the pace for these civil administrators to assume their new positions and functions in serving the people and the state.
Thanks, Eileen Sama, for that report. Palm oil farmers in Batoke have been called upon to come under the banner of a common group and fight against hunger by promoting the production of palm oil. The call was made by the divisional officer for Limbe 2 during the launch of a Jessicam oil production mill. Kumono Rembom completes the story.
Oil palm farmers in Limbe 2 subdivision and Batoke village in particular have been called upon to form a synergy under a common initiative group for the sustainability of palm oil production in Limbe 2 and Cameroon at large. The call was made by Madame Nyangono LC, Assistant Divisional Officer for Limbe 2 Subdivision, while presiding over the official opening of the Jessica Palm Oil Production Mill. She congratulated the proprietor of the oil mill for such an initiative, which according to her will go a long way to fight against food insecurity in Limbe 2, as well as providing employment to the local population. On his part, the proprietor of Jessica Palm Oil Production Mill, Mr. Lingate Esombi Thomas, thanked all those who inspired him to come out with such an initiative. According to him, the construction of Jessica Oil Mill has come to put an end to the difficulties faced by oil palm farmers in Batoke and Limbe 2 at large.
What prompted me was that I saw the difficulties which the farmers were facing because we were supplying our produce at the food store, particularly estates, which it was a long time for payments to come. So this gave me the challenge. I should try something on which God has blessed me to be fruitful.
The divisional officer and her entourage were given a guided tour around the mill, while the technicians demonstrated on how to operate the various machines.
We have first the pressing machines, which from there we can extract the red oil from it. After that we have the defiber machine, which we separate the kernels from the chaffs. And then thirdly we have the cracker, which we crack the kernels and then we keep the chaffs, which the chaffs are also used in making ties. The kernel is also used in making kernel oil, and the chaff of the kernel is used for making feed for pigs.
Earlier on, a college of clergy commissioned the oil production mill into the hands of God as they called on him to bless the hands of the laborers and everybody who comes to this mill.
You're watching the 6:30 Prime News on My Major Prime. We're counting days to Christmas and taking notes of preparations in the Littoral region. Our reporter, Etape Content, was out on the streets again today to capture the mood. He compared the following.
À l'arrivée du coronavirus au Cameroun, en mars 2020, toutes les activités étaient mises en stand-by. Quelque temps après, la vie a repris son cours normal. Seulement, le Covid-19 n'a pas tardé à gripper l'économie dans le pays, ce qui a déclenché la rareté de la clientèle au marché de Bonamoussadi. Assise derrière son comptoir, cette commerçante se plaint.
Le marché est vide comme vous voyez là. Les marchandises sont là, on vient aussi s'asseoir. Il n'y a pas de clients. Il n'y a pas de clients. Le truc de Bamenda là, et aussi le corona, c'est ça qui fait que tout le dehors est sec. Ça, ce n'est pas le décembre, s'il ne ressemble pas aux autres décembre.
Dans sa boutique depuis le matin, celle-ci que vous voyez en image rapporte qu'elle n'a rien vendu depuis la première heure.
C'est vraiment difficile pour nous. Coronavirus nous a fait quelque chose vraiment. C'est vraiment trop dur pour nous. On ne parvient même pas à nourrir la famille, vraiment. Même habiller les enfants, ça ne donne pas. On ne sait pas comment on va faire. Je suis venue là, j'ai accroché les habits. Même pas une seule cliente pour demander c'est combien avant de ne pas acheter. Vous-même, vous voyez que c'est vraiment difficile. On ne sait pas comment on va faire.
Tout se passe comme si aucune fête ne se pointait à l'horizon cette année à cause du contexte sanitaire dans lequel le monde se trouve. L'an passé, les marchés étaient bondés de clients. Aujourd'hui, c'est le contraire. Dans certains ménages, les parents n'ont pas la tête à cette fête. Le mieux qu'ils trouvent à faire, c'est de trouver de quoi manger, le minimum, pour faire plaisir au moins aux enfants.
On n'a pas la tête à ça parce qu'on sait tout ce qui se passe, mais pour satisfaire les enfants, ils sont obligés de le faire. C'est ça l'essentiel. Le reste, c'est le quotidien de tous les jours.
Toutefois, si cette année est qualifiée de maigre vache, espérons le mieux. L'an prochain, quelles qu'en soient les conditions dans lesquelles le pays se trouve, certains Camerounais vont sauf que traverser avec la tête haute.
On our cultural page, the maiden edition of the Idabato Cultural Festival aimed at exhibiting talents and promoting culture was launched over the weekend. Jobe Moki Regan was in the division over the weekend. He put together the following.
The first edition of the Idabato Cultural Festival has been launched in Idabato subdivision in Bakassi Peninsula and Zian Division of the Southwest region of Cameroon with objective of exhibiting talent and cultural diversity. Launching the maiden edition of the Idabato Cultural Festival, the senior divisional officer from Zian Division, Form Wang Lawrence, said the objective is to bring people together to showcase the cultural richness of Idabato and to promote unity and foster national integration.
Maiden edition of this cultural festival, and we have realized that it has brought together not only people from Idabato, but people from the whole of Cameroon, and most importantly, Cameroonians and Nigerians. See that once the mayor is active to the floor, he said to introduce so many pregnancies from Nigeria, and one thing that there is some sort of a policy of good neighborliness, which is being preached by the head of state and municipal government of Nigeria. It is being witnessed here now by all of us who are assembling here for this cultural festival.
The cultural festival witnessed canoes as fishing is the main economic activity of the population of Idabato, as some people were spotted waiting endlessly for the first boat to arrive the shores of Idabato during the canoe race. Etongo Efende is the mayor of Idabato Council, who used the ceremony to call on parents to send their children to school rather than allowing them to do fishing.
It's the parents who are here today to send their children to school. Many parents use their underage children for fishing, which is not good. The government has posted over 60 teachers for both primary and secondary school in Idabato municipality. Instead of seeing these children going to school, you would rather find them in a fishing boat.
It should be noted that Idabato is home to over 5,000 inhabitants, with the majority from Nigeria, as the population of Idabato applauded the initiative of the mayor of Idabato Council, as 2021 has been booked for the second edition of the Idabato Cultural Festival.
Reports from Kumba, Chieftain of Kmer Division, confirms that life and relative calm is returning to the railway neighborhood. This is thanks to a peace initiative by a group of veteran footballers in the area. Tamfu Sidwan Dimbia tells us more.
This is the railway neighborhood in Fiango Kumba. It used to be a hotspot for confrontations between separatist fighters and government forces. Many people have been killed around this area, many arrested and kidnapped for having links with the separatists and government militia respectively. Today, the reality is the opposite, thanks to football, which remains a unifying factor. Organized by the Guard New Look veteran, training has been taking place here regularly and keeping the area safe and lively. On Sunday, a selection of the Meme all-veteran footballers engaged in a friendly encounter with the host Veto Club. It all started with a peace walk, announcing the return to peace and absence of gun battles. back to the field of play, the Ga New Look veteran engaged in a fierce encounter with a selection from the Meme All Veteran clubs. The match ended as the New Look veteran bowed to the Meme All Veto clubs by 0-1. The president of the Ga New Look veteran club said the creation of the Veto club is to keep the area alive, and it is their own way in contributing to peace building.
So we came out with this issue of a veteran club in Ga with the name New Look Veteran to kind of bring people back to life, bring people back to knowledge to life, to make them understand that the Ga they used to have in mind is not the Ga in the past. It's a new look Ga. And
other veteran footballers expressed optimism as the once feared quarter in Kumba is now lively thanks to football.
It is a wonderful thing. This Ga New Look team or veteran is wonderful because if you see what they are doing, the way they came into the veteran family is wonderful. As veterans, the purpose is for men and women of above 35 years to come together, make sure they always keep fit.
At the end of the encounter, both Veto clubs celebrated and extended a message of peace to all other parts of the restive Northwest and Southwest regions.
Still in sports, some 8 matches counting for the first day of play in the Southwest Division 1 Football Championship took place over the weekend across stages in the Southwest region. According to sportsman Fabrice Keninga, the matches recorded some dramatic results.
Community field in the Sports Academy that have defeated Victoria United by 1-0. There's been a beautiful game of football out here. We've got plenty of styles in this game. And just also indicated today in Limbe Football Club Association lost by 1-2 to Jalapang Sports Academy. It is the first day of play in the Southwest Regional Football Championship.
An entertaining and exciting game for both sides, with the boys of Coach Kmer Ernest emerging victorious.
I'm a happy man. I told you from the starting, when we came to our training here, I told you that we have a good ambition this year. So you can see for yourself the hierarchies in the world.
Coach Njoku Barnabas of Opopo blamed his defeat on licenses issues.
License issues destabilize our game plan. You know, the team that started this game was just supposed to be the first team, so we had to do with the one that we had. I think during the match we took a very early goal that really destabilized our plan.
At the Boya Town Stadium, Prisons Football Club of Boya, the homeboys, humiliated their opponents in Yode Football Academy by 6-0, a victory dedicated to late honorary president of the club, Ekema Patrick Esunge.
We have dedicated this year to our honorary president, late Ekema Patrick Esunge, the greatest warrior of the Bakore tribe.
In other games, Boya United Football Club defeated the University of Boya Football Club by 3-1. Mount Cameroon Football Club lost 0-3 to H-All Academy, while in Kumba, Bound Manibok of Kake defeated Nemfa by 4-1, and Jalapang Sports Academy of Limbe had a 2-1 win over Limbe Football Club Association. Kamini Football Initiative recorded a 1-0 win over Future Dreams of Kumba. The game between Dynamic Football Club of Boya against Catholic University Sports Academy and Future Soccer Stars Academy against Isosa did not hold due to license issues. Games will only resume after the African Nations Championship.
Prime News ends here. Thanks for being a part of today's edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. The news was coordinated by Lasha Kinsley, produced by Ewane Eli Nolinga. My name is Genda Peldrum Blanche King. Until we meet again tomorrow, God willing, at 6:30 Cameroon time for another edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. Stay tuned at 7 p.m. Leonard will be live with Prime Art to discuss issues about Cameroon, Africa, and the world. Happy viewing and good night.